if I crush the room. I dare you play your cards, boy, you bet I'm a trendsetter too. Fire when the strobe hits you.
That's it, Brian? Yes.
Bet you're looking for something new.
Hey everyone, so today I am going to be doing a simple line art. So first I will start with lowering the opacity of the main layer and going into a different layer to trace the hair. I use the pen Dip Pen Soft. I usually go between 2.7 and 2.9. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't stay completely on the lines. I feel like it gives it a little more edited look if you don't do exactly on the lines and you just do, you just roughly trace it. You have to make sure to get all the hair though. I mean, for me, the layers don't really matter. I am just now realizing this because I use Magic Wand anyway to color. So I didn't really see a point in doing the layers. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I probably will keep doing layers just because. Anyway, I just try and make sure that all the gaps are filled. And right now I'm just cleaning up the drawing a little bit, making sure all the lines are straight and there's nothing I didn't want. So now I made another layer and I'm moving on to the body. You don't have to trace the entire head, like where the hair is, because that's already traced. But I just like to trace the head and the ear, plus all of the clothing. I do 3 layers usually: the hair, the eyes, and the body. I don't usually do much for the clothing that's any different than what it actually is. I will not draw the lines for the cuffs, I think it is, until the very end, because when you color it in, I've always had a little bit of trouble with that. So I usually just like to, I like to draw pointy fingers. I think that they look best. And so I tried to draw the fingers going in the direction that she was moving her hand. I don't know if that works, but I forgot the pinky, so I had to put that on. I redid the thumb. I didn't like it. And I tried to draw it a certain way, but then it made it look like she had a really long finger and she broke it. So for the thumbs, when they're like in a fist, I like to do like a point and then like a bump. I think I pretty much go with the way that another YouTuber goes. I will put her link in the description if you want to watch her video. I like to make the fingers almost like a candy of some sort, or like I don't know anymore. But you can pause the video if you need to stop at any point. Anyway, I go in for the shoes, and I like to use these shoes. I think they're pretty cute, but I do not do the lines in the laces, because they're just, it's the same thing with the cuffs. They just make it hard to color, and I'm just outlining everything and checking, make sure everything I drew was okay. I went back in and redid the shoe because I don't know what happened there. I had to re-put it in and retrace it, so I think it looks better now. Really, the good thing about this is that you can undo everything. You can redo, erase, start over. It doesn't matter. And so right now I'm just fixing some stuff up. And then I'll be coloring pretty soon. So I didn't know whether you all wanted to listen to me talk for like 25 minutes. I don't really care. I don't have much to do during quarantine. So I've really been doing a lot of line art. I guess it doesn't matter like what I do. Anyway, I drew this on a plane, so there were a few bumps in the road. So really, for the colors, I like to choose what color hair I want, a lighter color for the hair as well, the skin tone, and I usually decide the hair color, the clothing color at a later point. But right now, I filled in the hair with a paint bucket, and then I'm going into the little corners and edges where it's still a tiny bit white and just filling that in. It doesn't take very long. I don't exactly know how to not do that. It's not a big problem for me though. Anyway, after I'm done with the hair, I move on to the skin, and I'm just fixing up, like making sure there are no holes in the drawing, coloring everything, and then filling in little corners. Same with the other hand. And then I'm going to do the face a little bit, making sure everything is right in the way I wanted it to be. Okay, so now I'm going to choose a color. I chose that kind of color for the jeans. I actually really like it. I think it gives a melancholy type of feel. Anyway, I chose a yellow for the sweater. I thought it was cute and it matched or went with the hair and jeans. I make the lines go outward. I think it's kind of like with the actual character in Gacha Life. I don't think these characters are too hard if you're ever wondering that. Now I'm going in for the eyes, and I'm just outlining. It's not that hard. I don't usually do the eyes in front of the hair. Sometimes I will do that in one of the drawings I will show later in the video I did a couple days ago. But other than that, I don't really do anything special for the eyes. I haven't really figured out what I want to do for the eyes, so anything I do that doesn't look right or like doesn't look like an actual eye, I've considered, and I know as I struggle to find a right eye that I like. Anyway, I'm filling in the eye with a color that I like, and I am using the magic wand, and I am shading, using a darker color and then a lighter color on the other side. You can pause the video if you need any help and just like need for me to slow down a bit. I did have to speed this up because this process was an hour long, and I didn't want to talk for an hour. I don't think anyone would watch a video for an hour long. I mean, if you have a video that's an hour long, I don't really care, and as long as you believe it's good for you. I barely watch gachas that are more than 10 minutes. Anyway, I went with the magic wand and I shaded the pupil as well. I am still struggling to find an eye. Anyway, I highlighted, put a little white to make it look, I don't know, glossy in some way, and then I highlighted the pupil a little bit. And then I realized that the skin was on top of the eye, so I was struggling a little bit with this. Anyway, I tried doing that, and then I realized that I'd have to outline the entire hair, which was going to be so tedious. So I just went in with the magic wand and erased everything, which I found was a lot easier than going in and outlining everything. So I recommend that if you make the same mistake I did. Now I'm just going back in and making sure the hair is where I want it to be, and then I'm going to color in the face. I should have just did the bucket for it, but I guess drawing it is okay as well. I had to also make sure that the inside of the eye was not colored skin tone. Anyway, you gotta make sure you get every little space. I really realize when I don't get every space after I color, so I will go back in and have to recolor it. It's tedious, but I don't know how to do it otherwise. For the eyebrows, I have some trouble with symmetry and when it's not tracing, and so I had to go in and grab a something to make it symmetrical without me having to do anything, and then I messed it up, and there I found I tried to do it with a smile and it made like a Momo effect. It was kind of creepy. So I put a little beauty mark. You don't have to do that. The smile, I really just made it simple since this is a simple thing. Now I'm going to be going in and coloring the hair, or highlighting. I'm going to make the light come from the same point I think the eyes did, or at least I thought. You know how the highlights are on the right side of the eye? I just wanted to make sure the light was coming from the same point. So really I'm just highlighting the tips of the hair. You can see that I like to use a big marker or a big spray paint for this. It's a lot easier, I feel. And so I'm shading, I'm like darkening the hair to where the points are that it would be darker because of a shadow. And then I realized I forgot something like I mentioned earlier, and so I'm gonna have to go back in and redo that. Anyway, I think that's about it for the hair. And now I'm just going to be shading the clothing, so I'm just taking a magic wand and doing all of that. And I'm choosing a darker color, and then I realized that it kind of looks like she sweat a lot if I put the shading under the armpit, but I don't really care at this point. Anyway, now I'm doing lighter color, and I'm shading in from the same point where the light is coming from, the right side, and doing the scarf as well. I did a black because, I mean, the opposite of black is white, and I tried doing it with the cuffs, and then I realized it didn't look very good. It looked like there was like some sort of stain or something, so I went in and redid that a little bit lighter, and I liked it. So I went in for a darker color for the jeans as well. I just go for the original, and then I lower the color a little bit to the darker side, and that works for me. Then I took a lighter color and highlighted. I'm pretty sure you all know the drill by now. I highlighted the shoes, and then I tried to darken the shoes, and I was a little confused as to why it wasn't coloring, but I thought that was okay. And sorry for the bumps again. We had some turbulence. Anyway, now I'm just going back in, and I'm highlighting and shading the skin. This wasn't that hard. Again, I just went with the same skin tone, and I darkened it a little bit. I really have to make sure that I get all the spaces with the magic wand. Also gotta make sure that it doesn't look like she got super tan on some fingers and not the others. I didn't find that much a problem, but I used the airbrush as well for this. I think I used the airbrush for all of my shading, unless I have to go back in and fix something. I did a little bit under the eye, and I thought maybe it would look like she hadn't slept, but I realized that that wasn't a problem, and I did it for the nose. It made her look like she was sick, so I just made sure that the shading was on one side only. Then I magic wand the outside of the picture, and I just painted a background. You don't have to do this. It didn't take very long. I mean, it was just for show, really. And then I realized, this is when I realized I hadn't done that, so I went back in and fixed that. Fixed up some patches where there wasn't any color. I had to go onto different, different layers to figure out where that hole was coming from. And anyway, now I'm just finishing up everything and saying thank you for watching. Thank you anyway. See you later.